an innovative blockchain faucet dedicated to revolutionizing water management in communities, especially in northeastern Kenya. By leveraging blockchain technology, Actuate Water ensures fair access to clean and reliable water sources. This initiative not only empowers economic prosperity and educational advancement, but also contributes to reduced crime rates. Our project incorporates a 3-day creative training program for community development workers. These workers will educate households about transformative change, what we call metanoia. This process involves envisioning the future they desire, understanding their current conditions, and mapping out how to achieve that future. Within the Actuate Water faucet, we offer an innovative 8-week learning program. This hybrid program combines online and physical meetings, catering to diverse learning preferences and schedules. Participants actively engage in these sessions and earn tokens as incentives for their contributions. These tokens serve a dual purpose. They not only reward individual participation but also empower community development workers. With these tokens, workers can train households within their communities, amplifying the program's impact far beyond the immediate participants. This creates a cycle of empowerment and knowledge sharing, enhancing community resilience and well-being. Our solution facilitates economic activities like agriculture and small-scale businesses. It also alleviates the burden on children, particularly girls, who often miss school to fetch water from distant sources. Through Actuate Water's faucet, communities unlock their economic potential, promote sustainable growth, and foster a brighter future for all. Join us in transforming lives with Actuate Water. Together, we can build a sustainable and prosperous future. Welcome to Actuate Water Faucet, an innovative blockchain faucet dedicated to revolutionizing water management in communities, especially in northeastern Kenya. By leveraging blockchain technology, Actuate Water ensures fair access to clean and reliable water sources. This initiative not only empowers economic prosperity and educational advancement, but also contributes to reduced crime rates. Our project incorporates a 3-day creative training program for community development workers. These workers will educate households about transformative change, what we call metanoia. This process involves envisioning the future they desire, understanding their current conditions, and mapping out how to achieve that future. Within the Actuate Water faucet, we offer an innovative 8-week learning program. This hybrid program combines online and physical meetings, catering to diverse learning preferences and schedules. Participants actively engage in these sessions and earn tokens as incentives for their contributions. These tokens serve a dual purpose. They not only reward individual participation but also empower community development workers. With these tokens, workers can train households within their communities, amplifying the program's impact far beyond the immediate participants. This creates a cycle of empowerment and knowledge sharing, enhancing community resilience and well-being. Our solution facilitates economic activities like agriculture and small-scale businesses. It also alleviates the burden on children, particularly girls, who often miss school to fetch water from distant sources. Through Actuate Water's faucet, communities unlock their economic potential, promote sustainable growth, and foster a brighter future for all. Join us in transforming lives with Actuate Water. Together, we can build a sustainable and prosperous future. Welcome to Actuate Water Faucet, an innovative blockchain faucet dedicated to revolutionizing water management in communities, especially in northeastern Kenya. By leveraging blockchain technology, Actuate Water ensures fair access to clean and reliable water sources. This initiative not only empowers economic prosperity and educational advancement, but also contributes to reduced crime rates. Our project incorporates a 3-day creative training program for community development workers. These workers will educate households about transformative change, what we call metanoia. This process involves envisioning the future they desire, understanding their current conditions, and mapping out how to achieve that future. Within the Actuate water faucet, we offer an innovative 8-week learning program. This hybrid program combines online and physical meetings, catering to diverse learning preferences and schedules. Participants actively engage in these sessions and earn tokens as incentives for their contributions. These tokens serve a dual purpose. They not only reward individual participation but also empower community development workers. With these tokens, workers can train households within their communities, amplifying the program's impact far beyond the immediate participants. This creates a cycle of empowerment and knowledge sharing, enhancing community resilience and well-being. Our solution facilitates economic activities like agriculture and small-scale businesses. It also alleviates the burden on children, particularly girls, who often miss school to fetch water from distant sources. Through Actuate Water's faucet, communities unlock their economic potential, promote sustainable growth, and foster a brighter future for all. Join us in transforming lives with Actuate Water. Together, we can build a sustainable and prosperous future. Welcome to Actuate Water Faucet, an innovative blockchain faucet dedicated to revolutionizing water management in communities, especially in northeastern Kenya. By leveraging blockchain technology, Actuate Water ensures fair access to clean and reliable water sources. This initiative not only empowers economic prosperity and educational advancement, but also contributes to reduced crime rates. Our project incorporates a 3-day creative training program for community development workers. These workers will educate households about transformative change, what we call metanoia. This process involves envisioning the future they desire, understanding their current conditions, and mapping out how to achieve that future. Within the Actuate Water faucet, we offer an innovative 8-week learning program. This hybrid program combines online and physical meetings, catering to diverse learning preferences and schedules. Participants actively engage in these sessions and earn tokens as incentives.
Okay, thank you very much, Frida, for the video on the Actuate Water. And today we're going to have our second session for the first cohort, and we shall be looking at the significance, or rather the importance of water generally from all perspectives. And I want to first of all appreciate Dr. for making it to this meeting, Grace and Frida, and we also have our topic master ready here with us, Anthony. Thank you very much for making it to the meeting. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome the topic master to take us through the importance of water. So Anthony, you're welcome.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our today's class. We're going to talk about water. The importance of water. Water is the driving force of all nature. That's by Leonard da Vinci. This quote encapsulates the fundamental importance of water in our world. Water is essential to life, influencing every aspect of our existence. It sustains ecosystems, supports human health, and drives economic activities. The purpose of this presentation is to explore the critical role that water plays in our daily lives and the broader environment. We will delve into its significance for health, agriculture, the economy, and sustained development, highlighting why water is indispensable for life on Earth. Water and human health. Water is essential for human health and well-being. It is fundamental for hydration, ensuring that our bodies function properly. Every cell, tissues, and organ in our body requires water for it to operate effectively. Water aids in digestion, helping to break down food and absorb nutrients. It's also crucial for waste elimination, as it helps to flush toxins out of our bodies through urine and sweat. Access to clean drinking water is vital in preventing dehydration-related illness and promoting overall health. Dehydration can lead to various health issues, including headaches, fatigue, and impaired cognitive function. Furthermore, clean water significantly reduces the spread of waterborne diseases such as cholera, dysentery, which are major health concerns in many parts of the world. Water in agriculture. Water is a crucial resource in agriculture, playing an indispensable role in food production and security. It is essential for irrigation, which allows farmers to grow crops, especially in regions with insufficient rainfall. By providing a reliable water supply, irrigation helps increase crop yields and enable the cultivation of a wider variety of plants. In addition to crop production, water is crucial for livestock farming. Animals need adequate water for drinking, and it is also necessary for maintaining hygiene and processing animal products such as milk and meat. Effective water management in agriculture ensures that livestock remain healthy and productive. Water's importance in agriculture extends to livelihoods. Millions of people around the world depend on farming as their primary source of income. Proper water management practices can enhance agricultural activities, contributing to economic growth and stability in rural communities. Water and the environment. Water is essential for maintaining the health and balance of the environment. It plays a crucial role in sustaining ecosystems and supporting biodiversity. Aquatic ecosystems, such as rivers, lakes, and oceans, are home to a vast array of plants and animal species. These ecosystems depend on a continuous supply of clean water to thrive. Water influences climate patterns and weather systems. It is involved in processes such as evaporation, condensation, precipitation, which are fundamental to the Earth water cycle. This cycle helps regulate the climate, impacting everything from local weather conditions to global climate patterns. Wetlands, another vital components of the environment, act as natural water filters. They trap pollutants and sediments, improving water quality. Wetlands can provide habitat for wildlife, serve a breeding ground for fish and birds, and help control flooding by absorbing excess rainwater. Economic importance of water. Water is a vital driver of economic growth and development. Its importance spans various sectors, including manufacturing, energy production, and tourism. Industries rely on water for processes such as cooling, cleaning, and as a raw material. For instance, the production of goods ranging from electronics to textile requires substantial amounts of water. The energy sector also heavily depends on water. That's hydropower, a renewable energy source, generates electricity by harnessing the energy of flowing water. This not only provides sustainable energy solutions, but also contributes to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Other energy production methods, like thermal power plants, use water for cooling purposes. Tourism, another significant economic sector, benefits from water resources. Beaches, lakes, and rivers attract tourism, boosting local economies through activities like boating, fishing, and swimming. The beauty and recreational opportunities provided by water bodies are essential for the tourism industry. Water and sanitation. Access to clean water and proper sanitation is a fundamental human right and a cornerstone of public health. Ensuring that people have access to safe drinking water is essential for preventing waterborne diseases such as cholera, dysentery, and typhoid. These diseases are prevalent in areas with inadequate water and sanitation infrastructure and pose significant health risk, especially to children. Proper sanitation facilities, including toilets and wastewater management systems, are crucial for maintaining hygiene and preventing the spread of infectious diseases. Sanitation helps to break the cycle of contamination, ensuring that waste does not pollute water sources and that communities remain healthy. Improving water and sanitation infrastructure has profound social and economic benefits. It reduces healthcare costs by preventing disease outbreaks, improves productivity by keeping people healthy, and enhances the quality of life. For children, access to clean water and sanitation is linked to better educational outcomes as it reduces absenteeism caused by illness. Water scarcity and conservation. Water scarcity is a growing global challenge that affects millions of people. Factors such as population growth, climate change, and population are exacerbating water shortage in many regions. Water scarcity has far-reaching impact on health, agriculture, industry, and overall quality of life. In areas facing water scarcity, communities struggle to access sufficient clean water for drinking, cooking, and sanitation. This scarcity often leads to conflict and exacerbates inequalities, as marginalized groups are disproportionately affected. To address water scarcity, conservation and sustainable water management practices are essential. Implementing water-saving technologies such as drip irrigation in agriculture and low-flow fixtures in households can significantly reduce water use. Recycling and reusing water in industries processes also contribute to conservation efforts. Public awareness and education play a crucial role in promoting water conservation. Innovative solutions in water management. Innovative solutions are crucial in addressing the complex challenges of water management. Technological advancement and community-based initiatives are leading the way in ensuring efficient and sustainable use of water resources. One of the promising technologies in water management is blockchain. Blockchain provides transparency and traceability in water usage and distribution. By recording transactions in a decentralized and immutable ledger, blockchain ensures accountability and prevents water theft and corruption. This technology can particularly beneficial in regions where water rights and distribution are contentious issues. Smart water management systems are another innovation, leveraging Internet of Things, IoT, devices to monitor and control water use in real time. These systems can detect leak, optimize irrigation schedules, and make water distribution network more efficient. Data collected from these devices helps in making informed decisions and improve water resource management. Actuate water initiatives. Actuate Water by blockchain is dedicated to revolutionize water management through innovative approaches and community engagement. Our initiatives focus on empowering local communities and leveraging technology to achieve sustainable water use and conservation. Training programs. We offer comprehensive training programs designed to educate stakeholders on water management best practices, including efficient use of resources and the role of technology. Hybrid learning with token incentives. Our hybrid learning approaches combining online education with in-person workshop, fostering continuous learning and contribution to water conservation efforts. Partnership and collaboration. We collaborate with diverse stakeholders, including government, non-governmental organizations, and local communities to implement impactful water management practices in projects. This partnership enables us to leverage collective expertise and resource for greater impact. In conclusion, water is not just a resource, it is the essence of life itself. Throughout this presentation, we have explored the critical importance of water in various aspects of our lives and the environment. For sustaining human health and agriculture to drive economic activities and maintaining ecological balance, water plays a central role in our existence. Call to action. As we move forward, it is imperative that we prioritize water conservation and sustainable management. Each of us has a role to play in protecting and preserving this precious resource, whether through adopting water-saving habits in our daily lives, supporting innovative water technologies, or advocating for better water policies. We can all contribute to securing a water-secure future for generations to come. Thank you for your attention and engagement. Let's continue working together to ensure that water remains abundant, clean, and accessible for everyone, everywhere. Thank you so much, and that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much for that, and we really appreciate that you were able to cover the various aspects of the significance of water, from the economic impact to the impact of water on agriculture and health, the human health, animal health. And I think up to that point, I would like to appreciate you for an amazing presentation. And now I'm going to invite a few remarks from our CEO, Dr. Masharia. And then as Dr. Masharia will be giving his remarks, if anyone has any questions or inquiries to make, they can use the chat box. So Dr. Masharia, you're very much welcome.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Can you hear me, by the way? Can you hear me?
Yeah, today you're very much audible.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Anthony, what's the last name of Anthony? First of all, thank you, Anthony. Well, just reminding us about the essence of water. Water is equals to life. That's beautiful. Water is equals to life. That's what we were told a long time ago by the greatest. One of the greatest gone by is called Leonardo da Vinci. Who knows who is Leonardo da Vinci? Barbara, you know Leonardo da Vinci?
Not so much about him, apart from a few philosophical quotes that he makes.
What did he say, Leonardo da Vinci? All of you, everybody knows Da Vinci Code. Ever heard of Da Vinci Code? Da Vinci Code is a movie and a book the book is by Danny Brown, Da Vinci Code. Why is Da Vinci Code important in this conversation? I'll reveal to you the secret, which Da Vinci revealed to us long time ago, way back when. See, Da Vinci was employed by the powers that be in Rome, the Roman Empire. I think and he drew those great pictures. He was what you would call a supremely brilliant guy. People called polymath. Da Vinci was very, very smart. Like all of you, you're very, very smart. You have got the smartness of Leonardo da Vinci. Why? Because you're here. You're here because you are just as smart as Leonardo da Vinci. The Da Vinci Code is the basis of cryptography. Where did you hear the name cryptography? Of course, you know crypto. That is Da Vinci himself. That's what's called Da Vinci Code. You see, the Da Vinci Code gave us the Fibonacci sequence. Now I would encourage you to read Da Vinci Code, the book. But that story, Da Vinci Code is fiction. It's not the real story. But there's a lot of videos on YouTube on Da Vinci. So you want to watch those videos, understand Da Vinci and how he unraveled secrets of the world, and he created crypto. So Da Vinci is the great grandfather of blockchain. See, that's why, Anthony, thank you so much for bringing Da Vinci into our consciousness again. So the Da Vinci Code is what's called cryptography. Learning to pass messages that cannot be changed, immutable, transparent messages that even Ruto himself, with all his glory, cannot change. Even when the Gen Zs come around and tell him, Ruto, you must change, but he cannot interfere. That's way long time ago that Da Vinci gave us crypto. So cryptographic communication, before now it was computerized by before it was integrated into mathematics theory of communication by Shannon in 1948. Da Vinci Code, I think that was around 1600s. I think he was the age mate of Isaac Newton, something like that. So that's Leonardo da Vinci. And then Da Vinci comes around again. And Da Vinci is the one who said water is essential to life. And the essence of water is not just to life. People have talked about water way before Da Vinci talked about it. And that was even Jesus Christ when he was he was traveling around there in those hills, I think of Jerusalem or Galilee or somewhere. And his disciples went to buy food, to buy meat. They left him alone, and then he walked up to the well, and then he found a lady drawing water. She had come to look for water. You see that time? How did people used to get water? They used to build wells. That lady, she was, I think, a woman from Samaria, and she was saying that the well was built by Jacob. But then Jesus told her, I can give you living water. Living water. So to indicate that water is life. And people come to search for water because water is life. So thank you so much, Anthony, because that's the thing about Da Vinci himself. When he was writing the Da Vinci Code, the Fibonacci sequence, he was also trying to understand how we can make water available for everybody. The same problem, we never solved that problem. And now the blockchain has come around on the computer system. And so it is our turn. That's why I said, you all have the spirit of Da Vinci, all of you. So, so another point I would like to put forth here is that there is enough water for everybody and everyone. Nature is always balanced. Nature is balanced. And that nature, the balance called the chain of nature is totally balanced until you put human beings into the place. So there's enough resources, there's no limited resources. But then when you have some Wumpa Loompas, some clever titans who were, I think if you read the New Testament, those kind of guys were known as the scribes and the Pharisees. Scribes, and they create such people who are called human beings. They inject their human mind, and the human mind interferes with the balance of nature. And then it looks like there isn't enough for everybody. And then the word scarcity comes about. There is no scarcity of water, by the way. There's enough water for all of us. Look at all that water in the ocean. Where does it come from? So it is a cycle that the water, when it goes to the ocean, needs to go back to the clouds in the skies and rain down again so that we can all enjoy, we can partake. Because water is 100% of life. 100% of life is water. If you remove water, there is no life. Animals, plants, humans, anything. Because water is that molecule, that element that is in everything, that's for everything, that's by everything. So everything lives by water. So water and life is equal to the same thing. And because of that, nature knows that. And nature cannot be producing water that is inadequate for people. But people themselves, human beings themselves, create conditions where water becomes inadequate for others. Yeah. And this is before blockchain came along. Although, Leonardo da Vinci had started cryptography, he was not able to distribute it. He did not have the technology for distributing that code so that everybody can participate in it. And between Leonardo da Vinci and the 20th century, we got a centralization of effort, or even let's say the centralization of effort, and that means centralization of money and then centralization of water. That water was available for the rich, but then the poor do not have access to water in the centralized system. So the people outside the water system are what we call the marginalized populations. They are marginalized from who? Nature has not marginalized them. They're not marginalized by nature, but they're marginalized by other human beings. Okay? So there's no scarcity of water. There is, you could say, abundance of very selfish people. It's abundance of selfishness, which creates an illusion of scarcity. Scarcity does not exist in nature. As you know, there is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new we're going to create. All that we need is available here, it's already present. The only reason it looks like things are scarce is because we have a centralized system that creates the illusion of scarcity. And that illusion of scarcity is what drives the science of economics. It's called economic science. Economics is not a science, but economics itself is based on scarcity. Make something scarce so that people can pay more for it. You know that. And so that's demand side economics. You create demand by making something look very, very scarce. If it is very scarce, people are going to want it, and then you get paid a lot of money for it. It's not a selfish argument, quite stupid. We can't even explain to you how disenchanting. I was looking for words saying disenchanting. You see, to be enchanted is to have fun. So disenchantment is to have agony. So it's painful when a few people want to be in charge of everything and they create an illusion that things are scarce. Oh, there's not enough water, so everybody's going to die. But they have just created that scarcity themselves. And they want to make us believe. But the grace of God, we've got the blockchain. And we have to chase away that idea of scarcity. Then water itself, in order for us now, because water is enough for all of us, even those people living in places where there isn't sufficient rainfall, there's water that is not only coming from the clouds, because what nature does is to recycle water, and through evaporation, it goes up in the clouds and then it rains down again. So that's water coming from heaven. That is because water is life. That is why in a lot of religious groups, people think that God lives in the clouds and he opens up the clouds to give water for people for life. Okay, so that is why the Holy One ascends into heaven, and heaven, where the clouds are, is associated with the skies in heaven, the clouds, because life comes from heaven. It's water. So as that water is coming on the ground, some people live in some places, geographical locations, that do not receive the grace of God coming from heaven. That's what they are told. So they get worried about. But remember that lady from Samaria, in Samaria, there wasn't much rain. But Jacob himself had dug a well for the people. All those people of that village of Samaria, don't know the city of town of Samaria, they used to go to that well to get water. So it means that there's underground water. Where was it coming from if it's not raining? There's water under the ground. But now to get that water under the ground, it requires a little more technology. You see, like water drilling technology. So because we now have to invoke the spirit of Jacob in communities, in the villages, to dig out wells for people And then when the well is dug, then people have to figure out how to bring that water from the well. But there is enough underground water in those places that are, that are called marginalized. There's enough underground water. And once in a while, such places receive rainfall. It's called scarcity of rain. So it's not that the rain is so scarce that there's not enough water. It rains once in a while. But when it rains, people do not harvest that water. Why? Because they are people called human beings. Why don't they harvest the water? Why? Why? It's a state of consciousness that prevents people from just doing what they must do. Water rains, it can rain like a whole week, one whole week. And then you get those things called seasonal rivers. The seasonal, so that river is actually going to transport all that rainwater into the Indian Ocean. All of it, without a single drop left, because nature is very true to itself. Okay? But then when it rains, as a human being, we are now given something called consciousness. Yeah, we are conscious, unless we are unconscious. That consciousness is a gift that you receive for free as a human being. You have greater consciousness than say, an antelope or a buffalo or even an elephant. An elephant can walk for hundreds of kilometers in search of water. But then instead of you walking for hundreds of kilometers searching for water, you see an elephant does not have any other job except to walk about. So as a human being, you have a lot more things to do than walking about in the jungles, knocking down trees like an elephant. You have a lot of things to do. And what you want to do is now, instead of walking around like an elephant looking for water, is you use your imagination. And that's what we are talking about here in Actuate Foundation, to help our people to understand how to gain access to their imagination. Because imagination is something called conscious. Imagine you creating a way of harvesting the rainwater. So imagination is very, very powerful. That is a technology which you would call a substance. Let's call it a substance, technical substance in your being, the substance of being, which we do not have access to. And what you can imagine, imagination is not, these are not dreams when you dream when you're asleep at night. It's things that you can imagine. It's called creative mind. The creative mind is highly imaginative. The kind of mind like Da Vinci himself, who could create the Da Vinci Code, the kind of mind that gave us the blockchain, that kind of mind is known as, you cannot gain access to that mind unless you gain access to your imagination potential. See, that gaining access to the imagination potential is what is described in Genesis 1. When your spirit move over the waters. The waters described in Genesis 1 is what's called emotion, that you have to knock down the emotion that inhibits you to gain access to your imagination potential. Because your emotion, which is evidence from your physical senses, which are telling you that if you live in a dry place, you will not have water unless you walk around like an elephant to look for water. That one is known as the human mind, which interferes with your imagination. So when you gain access to your imagination, which is called your higher consciousness, or what in the Holy Scriptures is known as the upper room. The upper room. The upper room. Remember this, that upper room is where there are many, many mansions. And that place has got a solution for the water. So we talk about water harvesting. As we said last week, is that when it rains once in a while, you want to harvest that water. And that's what we are going to talk about very much in this session. How do you harvest the rainwater? Instead of waiting for the water to go all the way to the ocean, then you say, oh, there's a scarcity of water. There was no scarcity of water in the first place. What was scarce is scarcity of imagination. Okay? So I want to underline that. It's not water that is scarce, it is the scarcity of imagination. And that imagination, why it was scarce, is because imagination was centralized. Centralized imagination, meaning that we can only implement water harvesting systems the way we are told by the powers that be. But you cannot imagine, because you cannot imagine harvesting water. I can't imagine harvesting water in Wajir. I cannot imagine harvesting water in Moyale. I can't imagine that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? No. Because of what? Because maybe we are waiting for the government to come and do it. Serikali's idea. That's what we usually say. Serikali, or maybe somebody has not come from outside. We are always waiting for someone to come from outside. Because what we have done is to delegate our imagination to central authority. So it's delegated imagination. When you delegate your imagination, you don't just delegate, but you kill your imagination. So what you're talking about is actuating imagination. Know the word actuate. Actuate is to remind ourselves that that imagination is always there. We can imagine how to solve our own problems. And then when we imagine how to solve our own problems, we solve them. And that's called decentralized imagination. And the word that I want to bring into your awareness is called metanoia. Because when Frida was playing the video before we started this meeting, the video for water, this is a creative process, relies on metanoia. Metanoia is a shift in consciousness. When in the beginning you maybe had unbelief, that you could not believe, that you could imagine how to create a water harvesting system. Metanoia is shifting consciousness to the extent that now you can believe that you can do by yourself. You can create a water harvesting system. So there are 3 ways of harvesting water. 1, so we said last week, rainwater on the roof, creating water gutters and tanks. Every single roof can have about 4 or 5 tanks that can get you enough water for the family for a whole 6 months. So if it rains every 6 months, you have enough water for 6 months. And that over the next, let's say, from here going forward, that's what we are going to work upon. Even teaching people in the pharmaceutical community economic development workers to understand how to advise family that you actually live in a house that's got a roof. Don't let the water rain and then all the water runs off on its way to the ocean. The ocean does not need that water, by the way. Even Indian Ocean will say, why are you sending all this water to me? I already have enough. So do not let the ocean complain to you that, okay, listen, I don't need the water coming from the rain. First of all, capture it for your children and your family to drink it, to use it for drinking, cleaning, washing, hydrating the animals, all that stuff. So from your own roof. Now, if you look around in Kenya or even in other African countries, you will see hundreds upon hundreds of roofs without a water harvesting system. They don't have gutter. This gutter for collect. How could you build a whole roof and then you just did not add the gutter? Yeah? Is it because you did not have enough money to buy the roof? You see, that is what I'm talking about. It's about imagination. It's not because the money was missing, because putting a gutter doesn't add to the budget. The roof, in fact, because you don't have to do it the same day. Let's say you put up a roof and then you don't put up a gutter to collect water from the roof. What is that? So this is what we want our community economic development workers to educate people. There's no point of protecting yourself from the rain coming from heaven, and then you do not collect that water. So two more expenses one has to add when you're creating the budget for the roof. One is to add the gutters that can capture that rainwater, and then the tanks where that water goes after the gutters have captured the water. So, and then the tank is not just one, because it takes only one night for your roof, your own roof, to give you enough water and fill that tank. What about the rest of the nights? The rain. So you do not just invest in one tank, you want to invest in multiple tanks. That one roof can have as many as 10 tanks. There is nothing wrong with doing that. What's wrong with having 10 tanks instead of one? And you can even arrange those tanks in a series, because I'm sure there's some engineers here that when one tank is full, it now can feed into the next tank. When the next tank is full, it can feed into the third tank. And when that tank is full, it feeds in the fourth tank. And this is why we have so many young people who are well educated. They can teach their own people in the communities about that basic principle of water harvesting. It is shocking to go even in the colleges of engineering. Like I visited many colleges in Kenya, and they have big roofs, because of course every building has got a roof. They do not, all those roofs have not a single gutter to collect the water, even for the students, even to say as practicals for showing the engineering students the mechanisms for collecting water. But then they complain about water scarcity. Now, is it the water that is scarce, or is it that imagination that is scarce? So we should not create an illusion of scarcity of water when the real scarcity that we're having is scarcity of imagination. Metanoia is the science of recognizing the scarcity of imagination and saying, okay, enough of that scarcity. We have abundance of imagination. So what you're looking for and what you're looking for to evoke or to actuate in Actuate Nation is abundance of imagination. Abundance of imagination. Just make sure that you take serious notes that what is scarce is not water. What is scarce is imagination. And we want to have abundance of imagination. We want to have highly imaginative people. It's the blockchain itself is a highly imaginative product made by a highly imaginative guy called Satoshi Nakamoto. He could not build blockchain without imagining what kind of a finance system like that would be. And so we have it already. So that one is all we have to do is imagine how we can use it. So that's one. Second source of water in the place we are currently has scarcity of water is collecting rainwater or rainwater harvesting by building some things called water pans. We talked about water pans briefly last week. A water pan is like a small dam for your own household. Okay? A small dam, it's a small pool, or like a pool, like a swimming pool, you could say. You can even have your small baby swimming there, but make sure they don't drown. Okay. Like creating a small lake for yourself in your own household. It doesn't consume a lot of land. If you have got only maybe 1 acre of land, you can reserve a very small fraction, like 0.1 acres of that land. You dig a hole, nicely done, and where you'll be directing all the rainwater. But when that hole, because the rainwater can seep into the ground, to prevent ground seepage, put a lining. And we have engineering guys. This one is not high science, it's not high engineering. You can buy the lining material. So you have it lined, you have a lining on the ground, so that when it rains, if it ever rains, if it rains once every 6 months, then you have water harvested that comes into that pan. It's called a water pan, and stays there for you, and you can be using it for feeding your cows, or even for irrigation, for growing your crops. and even for what? For drinking at home, but make sure you boil it. So because that is stagnant water, you can introduce something else called mosquitoes, because mosquitoes like stagnant water. You can make sure that water is moving around by doing two things. One, these are not things that are going to cost you anything. So stop saying that you need to have a budget to get another technology. No, it's a living technology that you can introduce some fish. If you put fish there, which now would end up becoming your own food, they'll be eating the larvae of mosquitoes. If mosquito is trying to breed in there, the fish is going to eat it. And then you can also introduce some ducks. When they have ducks, some ducks are moving around and they make the water to start moving and circulating, because ducks are like small, they have some small machines which are called their webbed feet of the ducks. And the ducks make the water move. But you don't want the water to stay still, stagnant, because it is going to be a breeding ground for mosquitoes or other things. So, and then there are so many other ways that you can handle that problem of getting parasites growing in your water system. But that is not very complicated. That's something that, and this way we're talking about community education, teaching our people that the water is always there. There's no scarcity of water. Water is there. You just need to harvest it, okay? The technology for harvest. But to harvest the water, we need a change of consciousness, a shift of mind, a metanoia, so that you can recognize that these solutions are already existing. Okay, so that's a second way. And then the third way is like what Jacob had done for those people of Samaria a long time ago, is to dig a well. So what the well of Jacob was, Jacob was one person. It's called son of promise. Son of promise, because he was son of promise, he was able to dig a well for the community. Yourself, you can dig a well for your own community, Jacob did, and that well lasts for thousands of years, because between Jacob and Jesus Christ there was about 4,000 years. I was still there, according to the Bible. It is a historical book. So that's what it is, that you build a well where people come to get the money. Now, wells today are much more technology driven, but you can build basic wells that are not high tech, just like drilling a hole for the ground, and then people can have a technology for pumping the water out. And all those things are going to examine them. And we shall invite some people who have these technologies to come and speak to us, to see, first of all, so that you understand they're not supremely expensive. For example, a well project. Let's talk about the water pan project. The water pan project costs less than 100,000 shillings if you're going to build it. I know 100,000 is a lot of money for a lot of people, but that is if you're hiring professional company to come and do it for you. But why would you even hire a professional company to come and do it for you? That's like building your own house at home. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's only to understand that the basic principles of building such a water pan, how is it going to be maintained to make sure it doesn't lose water through evaporation and through water seepage. It's the same thing as a well. So a well also doesn't cost more than 100,000 shillings. If you're going to hire people from outside to dig the well for you, or you can mobilize young people in the village to dig the well, and then you find it won't cost you more than 10,000 shillings. Or even in some cases only 2,000 shillings, and we're going to work on that. So it is not really the money also that it is scarce. Again, it's the scarcity of what? Imagination. Okay? So we want to make sure we use imagination very, very well, so that we don't talk about scarcity when the thing that is lacking is imagination, and we have abundance of imagination if we use it, all of us. And so then the other thing is a borehole. Boreholes are high. Boreholes are expensive. because borehole would require very high tech, installations. You have the drilling mechanism, which you have to hire some people. It's like petroleum drilling. That is highly involved, would cost something like $1 million to 2 million shillings. You see, but a lot of people, majority of people will do just fine with rainwater harvesting from their own roof, which is also less than 5,000 shillings. So this is why a lot of huge community education is important in terms of for helping people to unlock their imagination potential to be like Leonardo da Vinci themselves. And so that we don't have to rely upon some strange person who might come from outside there. Yeah, we've got say a Messiah to come and do for us all this work, to know that it is within every one of us. It is decentralized. And so when we combine this with decentralized finance on the blockchain, becomes something supremely powerful, because this education we are talking about, educating our people how to gain access to the imagination to do these things, is possible to incentivize with decentralized Actuate tokens. See? And then decentralized Actuate token that everyone who is willing to learn receives a token. And this token is also in the marketplace. So we're talking about anyone who is willing to use his imagination, that person gets rewarded with a token. That is what Da Vinci was dreaming about way back when, talking about cryptography, a cryptographic token. And that token is liquid, like liquid water. So we can incentivize imagination. That's what we are doing in this Actuate Water project and all the Actuate program, actuating the metanoia. So incentivizing imagination. So people get incentivized to do what is right, what they already do, that people get incentivized to gain access to the abundance of imagination. Okay, so that we can imagine together how to gain access to the water that is already present. There's no scarcity of water. There's no scarcity of water, ladies and gentlemen. I want to tell you, what we are lacking is highly imaginative potential, and we can actuate that with Actuate tokens by rewarding ourselves for our own imagination. The blockchain has made it possible for us to do that. So the nitty-gritty, like when see at the granular level, what does that look like? That when you have this, the plan is also to mobilize community economic development workers in communities to go around teaching people of these principles of water harvesting. One, rainwater harvesting. Two, from the roof, building tanks around the house. And number two is water plants, and number three, water drilling. So we have enough water for everybody. And maybe after we have done all those things, can become very, very smart, and we can talk about desalinating water from the ocean. But that is supremely high tech. That will come in when you come to the level of Israel. You see, Israel is a desert, but it produces more food, which they export. You cannot even imagine. Even places like because Israel desalinates its water from the ocean, takes water from the ocean and removes the salt, and then you have pure water, because the same water, except that has a lot of salt. So it's just desalinating the water. That's a complex expense. That's called chemical engineering. And we shall get there. But before we get there, there are very, very basic things that are right in our hands, which are called our roofs, our houses in which we sleep every day. Okay, so that I don't talk too much, I just wanted to underline that so you can see that. Anthony, thank you for bringing us the Da Vinci himself, reminding us that he is the great grandfather of cryptography, and we have cryptography now to decentralize our imagination for water harvesting. because water is abundant. There is no scarcity of water, but there is high scarcity of imagination. So Da Vinci Code gave us the formula for actuating imagination, but it has taken hundreds of years for us to get there. So that when we have highly actuated imagination, there's no scarcity of anything. Okay. Well, back to you, Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for that. And I think everyone is now excited to go and look at what Leonardo da Vinci ideas about the cryptography and what he said about water, especially for this particular initiative. And I think everyone should make it a personal initiative to look at that book. It's also a movie on Netflix, and you can also watch the YouTube videos, which are currently on YouTube. Thank you very much, Daktari. And I think because of time, I think we have come to the end of our session, and I want to appreciate everyone for making it to this meeting, and especially our topic master and Daktari for making their presentations. Thank you very much, everyone. We shall have another session in an hour at 8 p.m., the blockchain class, and you're all invited to join. So thank you very much, everyone. And I have I've shared the link in the chat box so you can fill it as we wait for the next session on blockchain. Thank you very much, everyone. The meeting is adjourned.
Yes, and I think when you're talking about the summit, we are going to dig deep into this water. In fact, we want to invite there's a lot of people doing water projects in Kenya, but I think what we have not reached is the actuation of the imagination that we want them to come in and speak to our people in Actuate Nation so they can give us an idea of really what it is all about. Then you will discover when we get these people who are actually doing this water drilling or building water plants, it is not all that expensive. Or even people who install tanks. It is actually something that we are able to do. It's just that our imagination has never reached there. So, yeah. So, Barbara, let us find people. There are guys who manufacture tanks in industrial area in Kenya. I think they are known as tank. I can't remember the name of that company. Would like them to come and speak to us. And also people who manufacture roofing materials like the girl sheet. Let us find them to come and talk to our people, because it's really not complicated. That's rainwater harvesting is the simplest thing. So, but I think why company like Girl Sheet or the company that makes tanks is not reaching out to the people is because we are the people have not created the platform. Is it a decentralized message? Yeah. Let's work together and find it. Eventually, ultimately, even by the time of the summit in December, we shall have made serious, we shall have made serious progress in terms of understanding water, that the real thing that's lacking is not water, it is the imagination. If you can capture that water before it goes to the ocean, even the ocean will be happy. By the way, let me tell you the final thing about that water that you capture. It's going to end up in the ocean. It's not because you capture it, it's not going to go to the ocean. Then the ocean is asking you, why don't you capture it and use it before it comes to me? That's what the ocean is always asking people. Why do you let the water come to me before you make use of it and benefits out of it? Why? Because eventually the water will end up in the ocean, whether you like it or not. So for example, when you create a hydroelectric dam, you stop the water from flowing so that it can stop and generate energy for you. But who tells you that water is not going to go to the ocean? Nobody, unless somebody's lying. There are some people, of course, some people who are not saying, okay, these people are stopping the ocean, the water going from the ocean, so the ocean won't have any water. Really? Water will end up in the ocean whether you stop it. With all the kinds of stoppages, there's nobody on this planet who can stop the ocean from getting the water. And once the water has arrived in the ocean really doesn't need it. to do what? Maybe for the ocean life, the oceanic life, it's a lot of life forms, for big transportation systems, for the ships, shipping lines and all that. The ocean is not concerned about that human beings now are going to finish the water in the ocean. So the ships are not going to manage to go to Japan. The Indian Ocean will be dry land. No. Don't be worried about the ocean. It's not really concerned. So basically, it is our it's our job to make sure that we capture the water before it goes to the ocean, so the ocean can stop laughing at us as human beings, saying, honey, saying how are you? Julie, they have no clue. These clueless people, they just let the water come to me. And I really never told them I needed them to let it come to me without them using it before it comes, because it's going to come to me with or without their permission. All right, thank you so much, everyone, and see you later in the blockchain. Blockchain proper. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, Doc. Bye, everyone.